Hi everyone, welcome back to the IT in Psychology YouTube channel. Today we are going to be starting with our fifth chapter of Psychology 12th grade, that is emotions. Before we start, I would like to tell you that I have completed 4 out of the 8 chapters in psychology and include the explanation of our concepts and the thorough discussion of exercise solutions. The links for the playlists will be provided in the description below. And if you have any doubts pertaining the topics taught in the previous videos or the topics that are going to be covered in this video, you can contact me on Telegram via the link given in the description. And if you're an IT student plus a psychology student, I've made videos on the 4 chapters of IT out of the 6 chapters, which again include the explanation of the concepts and our thorough discussion of exercise solutions. I've also completed the SOPs for our first chapter of advanced web designing and are the only one SOP that has been given for SEO, introduction to SEO. So you'll find the playlist in the description as well. So be flexible to the topics because you need to cover up those before you move forward to the next chapters. So let's start. Here we start out with giving by the pointers that have been given. We'll be covering up these, giving us a thorough overview of the topics in our chapter. In this chapter, our Unit 5.2 Basic Emotions has been removed for students appearing for boards in the year 2021. So, if you are appearing for boards in the year 2021, please ignore this topic. But for your juniors, you need to learn this topic, and this is an important module that we'll be learning. That is the Practice module. So we start out with our learning objectives. So just go through this quickly. This is important as well. So now we start out with our introductory part. Emotions have great importance in human life. We cannot imagine human life without emotions. Just as food appears tasteless without salt, life is meaningless without emotions. Without emotions, life will be boring, monotonous, and mechanical. They make our life colorful depending on how we handle and express them. They make our life purposeful and meaningful. So without emotions, you'll just be like purposeless robots. You would only have just one purpose. That's it. Just go working, or do the task you're doing. Just like go on reading. So emotions bring spice to your life, or what do you call it? It just makes life worth. There are ups and downs in emotions as well that we'll be covering in the future topics. So here again 5.1 only, history of emotions. For this activity 1 is important so that we'll understand this text or the concepts given here. So activity 1, think and analyze. Think of the following situations and note down what will be the experience of each person in that situation. It's Mira's standard 12th result today. She comes to know that she has topped in that college. Second one, Rahul's mother passed away just a few days before his 18th birthday. Suchita has Sujita was ridiculed by her classmate for wearing old-fashioned clothes. Yash had a fight at home because his parents were not allowing him to go for a late-night party. So we have 4 situations here or simulations here. We'll furthermore learn what emotions each of these simulations give us or what they represent. If you observe each of the adolescents above, you will realize that as each of them are going through a different kind of situation. So just before we read this, I'll just tell you that it's Mira's standard 12th result today. She comes to know that she has stopped. So it's obvious that she'll be on the top of the world. She'll be on cloud 9 for that time. Rahul's mother passed away. So that's the saddest thing that could happen to a person. Just before his 18th birthday. So the emotion he'll be feeling here would be sadness, thorough sadness. Suchita was ridiculed by her classmate for wearing old-fashioned clothes. So here, Suchita would be shameful in front of her entire class. Here, Yash had a fight at home because his parents were not allowing him to go for a late night party. So obviously he would be angry that his parents are not being as liberal as other parents are. So he'll be like, why aren't they allowing me? He'll be very angry. He'll be agitated to the limit. So here we'll read what our textbook has to offer about these simulations. Meera will experience happiness due to her success, whereas Rahul will experience sadness. Suchita will experience shame, whereas Yash will be angry at his parents. Our life is full of emotions. We all live at the mercy of our emotions. Our emotions influence and shape our desires, thoughts, and behaviors, and above all, our destiny. This was said by Dr. T.P. Chia. Please, I apologize if I am pronouncing this name wrong. So, as said by the doctor, your emotions are just like they shape you every day. They shape every aspect of your life. See, just if you are waking up cranky in the morning, if you have an argument with anyone, so everything has its ups and downs. It shows what emotion you show according to those situations. So emotions affect situations, and situations affect your emotion. So it goes hand in hand. In the terms of science, directly proportional, or sometimes inversely proportional as well. It's not definite actually. Emotions can be defined as a combination of bodily arousal, expressive behavior, thoughts, and feelings. Imagine you are walking alone on a lonely road in the night and you see some people in the corner of one lane. You suddenly become vigilant. There are thousand thoughts running in your mind, wondering what they must be doing, calculating the risk that they might cause harm. You have cold feet and prepare yourself to run as you are too scared. Historically, different theories have tried to understand the relationship between our emotions, thinking, and behavior. Let's see some of the historical theories of emotions. So, in this paragraph, this shows this has given us an example of how we would react to different situations we will be put in or the simulations we will be put in. And this shows us this starting part shows us what is emotion defined as. So just mark this as important. This statement is important. This could be asked to you in our MCQs or our what do you call it? Fill in the blanks. Like what is emotion defined as? Give one example, or the one-liner questions that are asked. So this might come as your definition. So this is an important part. And this example, if asked, just think of the best example you have about the emotions you feel in many situations that are happening around you. Like just say that you are in a, as said here, you are walking alone on the road. You see some people doing something in a corner of a lane. You would think them as shady, but only if it were the daytime, you'd think something else. So there are different situations how you would react. So here it has been given that there are many theories or many researches that have happened to understand or to contemplate what is the difference or the relationship between our emotions, thinking, and behavior. So now we'll be learning the historical theories of emotions that have been brought up by different professions. Uh, professionals, sorry. So the first one given to here is the James Lange theory. William James and Carl Lange believed that we experience emotions because of our physiological arousal. So according to them, we don't cry because we feel sad, but we feel sad because we cry. So this was in the future, this was argued upon by two doctors, that are Walter Cannon and Philip Bard, disagreed with James Lange theory, saying that only physiological arousal will not lead to experiencing a particular emotion because we may experience the same physiological arousal, but emotions can be different. Example, we don't cry only when we are sad, but we also cry when we are pleasantly surprised or extremely happy. So just think that you get a very bad score in your preliminary exams. Of course, you will feel very sad. You start crying. That is the situation affecting you. So that is not just you cry and you make yourself sad. You start crying because you're sad about your results. Or just imagine that you scored or you topped, like Mira we had seen in the last activity. You scored the best in your college. You'll be extremely happy about your score. You'll be on cloud nine. So you would start crying. Like, what do you call it in Hindi? Khushi ke aasu. So these are two situations that are caused or that cause you to cry. So it's just not that you cry, so that's what makes you sad. It's more complex than Mr. James and Lange thought about it. So where were we? Yeah. When we experience an emotion, a sympathetic nervous system interprets the stimulus, which leads to physiological arousal like crying or heart palpitation. So for those who do not know what heart palpitation is, it's just fast beating of your heart. Like you're very excited about something, or you are the adrenaline rush you feel. That is what causes heart palpitation. If it is wrong, if my explanation here is wrong, please comment down below. What do you think about what heart palpitation is? The same information is also interpreted in the brain by which we become aware of the emotion. So your brain is already set to act that way when you are extremely happy or you are pleasantly surprised about it or you are very down. So the next theory we have is the Catcher and Singer's two-factor theory. Please, I apologize if my pronunciation is wrong about this doctor, physiotherapist or something. Psychologist, sorry. Many researchers, including Scatcher and Singer, accept that our thoughts, which include our perceptions, memories, and interpretations, will also contribute in the experience of emotions. Our physiological arousal will interact with our thinking process, and after that, we will experience emotions. Neuropsychologists also acknowledge the role of specialized brain areas like amygdala in the experience of emotions. According to them, depending on the complexity of various emotions, we prefer to process them differently in our brain. So it's much more complex that people assess that their brain functions. So we have been given with a flow chart here of how different theories function. So here the James Lange theory, pounding of heart that caused fear. Then we have the Cannon-Bart theory, which shows two different formations that cause us to cry. That is the pounding of heart or the fear. These are the two aspects. Then we have the Scatcher-Singer theory that shows us first the pounding of heart, that is the arousal, or the cognitive label, I am afraid. This causes our fear emotion to rise up. So this is the flowchart for our theories. This is important. This might be asked to you in a written form. Explain this or explain the theories, different theories of emotions. So just to get an overview, just know what this means and then go to this so that you get a better understanding, because interpreting this flowchart would be much easier than reading this text. So first see this flowchart, then move forward to noting this now. Make your notes in your own words as much as possible, because end of the day what the board teachers require are that you need to be as original as possible. They do not need rattu poparts, but the keyword should be correct. That is the only, what do you call it, thumb rule, so that you get the marks required. And one more news, our boards won't be postponed. Yeah, exactly. So our boards won't be postponed. They will be kept on or they will be held on 1st of March, the year 2021. They won't be postponed, nor will there be any further reduction in our portion. But I expect that the checking would be a bit more lenient, because there are many students who are not able to get access to the content that has been put out by different teachers, like Mr. Pawan sir, or the teacher at New Indian Era that teach PCM, or I teach IT and psychology, or Mr. Jayesh Rajgor who teaches IT and the different channels. So there are students who do not have access to all of this. So there might be a lenient checking, but I am telling you, you still have time. You still have time. Please just log your beep so that you score. And I'm telling you, there's nothing in psychology you can't study or you can't just score good at. This is a scoring subject as well as IT is. So I don't know if you guys have the project or the journal system, but I would suggest that you still have time. Please do watch my videos, or you can contact me on Telegram if you have any doubts. Or I'll be uploading a video on the timetable and paper pattern as soon as I get the paper pattern. What do you call it? Circular from my sources. I have received the paper pattern for IT. I'll be uploading the video for that soon. But for now, this is all we have to do. Just go through this, and we have here our activity to think and reflect. Do you start feeling better when you enter in the college and your friend welcomes you with a big smile? Have you experienced that when you are happy, the entire world seems to be joyful and colorful? Have you ever experienced that you are feeling sad and suddenly your friends crack a joke and makes you smile? You start feeling positive again. So this shows what situations can be just changed like that if you have a positive aspect in your life. You just can't be depressed all the time. You need to find the positives in your life. Just like the negatives, they're clear. Positives, you have to dig in deep in yourself to find the positives. So here we are at all these phenomena can be explained with the help of facial feedback hypotheses. According to this hypothesis, our facial expressions provide feedback to our brain concerning our emotions. In other words, facial expressions are not only the results of our emotion but are also capable of influencing our emotions. So smiling more frequently over a period of time can in fact make you happier. So showing by study or the research, if you are crying, just bring a big smile on your face. You'll suddenly see the just force yourself to smile. You'll see the difference ASAP. You'll just start feeling positive again. Or just surround yourself around positive people. I'm not telling you to surround yourself with yes men. Understand the difference. Positive people matter a lot. You need to know who is pulling you down and who is helping you struggle your way up. Who is helping you. Understand the difference. Accompany yourself with such people, and you'll see the difference ASAP, or you'll see your environment getting better and better and positive and positive. So here we are at our second unit, that is basic emotions. This has been removed. I'll again repeat, this has been removed for our 12th grade syllabus for the year 2021 due to the COVID-19 situation. So please ignore this topic for the boards. And to know which questions have been removed based on this topic, I have made an individual video on the questions removed for IT and psychology. It's a joint video. You'll find that in the description as well. And the reduced syllabus, I have made a detailed video. I've made an Excel sheet which I've named the topics and the page numbers. It took time, it took efforts. It was because it was only given in Marathi. It took time to translate, but it was easy enough. So you'll find that file in the description, as I've mentioned a Google link. Google Drive link. So without wasting any time, let's start with 5.2 basic emotions. Life is not about being rich, being popular, or being the best looking. It is about being real, being genuine, and true to who you are. Activity 3. Observe each figure carefully and write the emotion that corresponds to each in the blank spaces provided below. Can you identify which among these is a positive emotion and a negative emotion? So here this is a blank face. This is our positive. This is negative. This is negative because of the frown on his face. This is negative. This is positive. This is the highest form of positive. These two look same. I guess this is neutral as well. This is positive. So these were our rectification. Just grunt your answers through your faculties or your colleagues who have already answered this, or just check the answers in the digest so that you can get a better overview of the topic. There are two primary emotions, happiness and sadness. As our experiences change, the emotions transform to various levels, giving it different names. Example, happiness can also be transformed to joy, sadness can transform to grief or shame. We experience various emotions in different situations. At times, our emotions are so intense that we are ruled by our emotions. Our perceptions, decisions, and actions are influenced by our emotions at that time. Some emotions occur for a brief period of time, like exploding in anger, whereas some emotions are long lasting, like love. So just imagine that you're angry at someone. See, once you have flushed out all of that anger, the rest of the day you just be quiet. With experience, I'm saying. You after flushing out all the negative you have via the source of anger, you will be quiet the whole day. You'll start feeling positive again. So the equilibrium is maintained. So you flushed out your negative, now you're exploiting the positive in yourself. So there are some ups and downs in life. It's not like it's the permanent or the long lasting, what do you call it, emotion, that is love. Some emotions are important from the perspective of our survival, like fear, whereas some emotions are important for our psychological well-being. Emotions can be socially appropriate or inappropriate, or sometimes even socially obligatory. So some are accepted by a society, some are not accepted by a society. So you need to know the difference, or else the society might boycott. This is a big statement. Understand what is it. Emotions that are socially appropriate or inappropriate, or sometimes even socially obligatory. Some are inappropriate, some are extremely obligatory at the point where the society boycotts. Or if they are appropriate, you are what do you call it, labeled as a gentleman or etc. Example, at a funeral, we are expected to show sadness. Basic emotions serve as a basic for the more complex emotions, which results from the combination of basic emotions. So, as the example given here, we are expected to be sad or show sadness, but only if you act spontaneous or you act very happy at this funeral. It is socially obligatory. It's just to the limit of shamefulness. Researchers have differences in opinion regarding the number of basic emotions, but there is acceptance by the view given by Paul Ekman. He has suggested 6 basic types of emotions. Here we are at our activity 4. Check whether you can name the emotions accurately from the following examples. It's Ria's 18th birthday today, and her friends have given her a surprise party. Rohan recently had a breakup, and his longtime girlfriend, with whom he was, loved deeply. So I'm telling you, at this age, there's no love. Just slap yourself hard enough to just come back to reality or come back down to earth, that you have fallen in love. Bro, there's no love at the age of 16 or 17. Idiots. Samir had a disagreement with his best friend over where to go for a picnic, and the situation got heated up. Simple argument. Sumi has come to know that she has failed in her exam and she is figuring out how she will convey this to her parents. And Ashmit suddenly saw his school best friend across the street after many years. Amy opened today's newspaper and read the news of a 5-year-old getting gang raped. This is a serious topic. Sudhar Jawar. Sudhar Jawar. Only message to idiots out there. So let's get back to topic. So just take 5 minutes, pause the video, guess this for yourself, answer the activity, and then move forward. Do not, please be honest to yourself. Pause the video here and just check yourself how accurate you are in this. So the first one here is, it's Ria's 18th birthday today and her friends have given her a surprise party. So here she will feel happy. Then Rohan recently had a breakup and his long-time girlfriend, with whom he was in love deeply. So this is sadness. And next one is, Samir had a disagreement with his best friend over where to go for a picnic and the situation got heated up. So this would be anger. As the aggravation happens or the argument moves forward, you slowly get agitated and the anger brews out. Then we have Ashwit suddenly saw his, sorry. Sumi has come to know that she has failed in her exam and she is figuring out how she will convey this to her parents. So this represents fear in her of her parents, or how she is scared of telling her parents about her recent marks or she has failed. Next we have Ashwit suddenly saw his school best friend across the street after many years. So this is a surprise. How he's surprised to see his friend across the street after many years of their school. Amy opened today's newspaper and read the news of a 5-year-old getting gang raped. Of course, a woman or a lady or even a girl, she would feel sad or disgusted, literally disgusted, about a mere 5-year-old getting gang raped. India's going to the dogs. Being a brother, being a son, I no words to say about. I would not cuss at this point, but I'm really disgusted. See, reading this made me disgusted. Just imagine what had happened to the parents. Let's continue. This message to all of you. Please do not feel that you have the need to have any of these sexual relationships at this age or anything. You can't do this to a 5-year-old or even any girl of any age. She has the right to consent. Please, for God's sake, please. You represent men, please don't spoil our image. People are scared to, ladies are scared to go out in the night or in the day, in fact. Please respect women around you. Then only you will achieve respect. Rejection is not the way to maintain your respect. If she is rejecting you, see what's wrong with yourself and develop a mindset that if she's rejecting you, there are many people who will accept you as well. See the positives in life. if she or he is rejecting you, you do not need to feel bad about them. You need to prospect or retrospect in yourself that what is wrong with you and what you can develop to find someone better. Rejection is just one step of your life. Just see what if you scored bad in your boards, would you give the same reaction? That's the same as getting rejected. You failing in boards, the boards is rejecting you. Why don't you be violent in that way? See how many farmers are getting. मतलब, हद होती है यार. The government is mismanaging the relationship with the farmers. You won't react at that point. You won't react at our economy getting dropped. You will react to such petty things and you'll cause distress to an entire family, an entire life of a girl. You idiots. She, sorry for going off topic. We'll just continue. Happiness in the example of Riya. She will experience happiness as her friends are giving her a surprise birthday party. Happiness is the most positive emotion which we all experience, and it's also associated with satisfaction, contentment, and joy. It is closely associated with our psychological well-being, health, and longevity. Longevity. Sorry for the bad pronunciation. So happiness represents a person by that being a mm, primitive, or what do you call it, our elementary emotion. That's branches out to different, as we had learned in our previous paragraph, as emotion and the two emotions, the primary emotions that are happiness and sadness. These branch out to different emotions that we feel. So these are your basics. You move forward to your advances as you grow in life, or grow grow in life only. So then we have our sadness. In the case of Rohan, he will experience sadness after the breakup. Sadness is characterized by some other related feelings like disappointment, grief, and hopelessness. Sorry. As we experience happiness, we also experience sadness from time to time. As I said, the equilibrium has to be maintained. You can't be happy all the time. So there might be some sadness in your life. Accept that part. You can't be happy all the time. Equilibrium is maintained in life. There are ups and downs. You do not need to react in a topsy-turvy manner. It's natural. It happens with everyone. Sadness and happiness occur, but you do not need to act out of your rail or something. Even though it's very normal and natural to be sad at times, prolonged sadness can turn into depression. This is where things go extreme. Of course, there are some coping strategies to deal with our sadness, which will make us more emotionally stable. So depression is just, what do you call it? It's just an aggravated form of sadness. Being sad for a long time, listening to sad tunes or songs, it might cause you to fall into depression. But you should know how to lift yourself up, how to get yourself moving. So this is what we achieve from sadness. You should know how to get into either of these and how to get out of either of these emotions. Then we have anger. Samir will experience anger due to the disagreement with his friend. Anger is a very powerful emotion which includes hostility, agitation, and frustration. Anger is often displayed through facial expressions, body language, tone of voice, and aggressive behavior. Anger is a two-sided sword which can be good as well as bad. So anger as a two-sided sword, it is good when you show it for a good cause. When something bad is happening around you, you show anger to disapprove that it is wrong and you mend what is wrong around you. And if anger is used in the negative way, it destroys relations. let it be your family members, let it be your relationships with the girlfriend you have in your future life, and let it be a friend of yours or a colleague. Your anger would destroy you, and it might make you as well. But you have to be careful while handling anger. Anger, sorry, not anger. Anger. Then we have fear. Sumi will experience fear as she will be scared to tell her parents that she has failed in her exam. Fear is a powerful emotion which is closely related to our survival from the evolutionary point of view. Fear is also associated with fight or flight response because fear could indicate a threat. So this was our fear. Then we move forward to our fifth emotion, that is surprise. Ashmit will be surprised after seeing his school best friend suddenly across the street. He'll be jolly. He'll be like, after so many years, it's just good that I've met you. Surprised to see his friend. Surprise is associated with psychological state of response after some unexpected event. Surprise can be positive, as in the case of Ashmit, but can be negative or neutral also. Example, when a teacher announces a surprise test in the class, that can be unpleasant surprise for most of you. Yeah, this is just the board taking sarcastic comments and putting it here. It might be unpleasant surprise for you if you haven't studied, because the teachers know most of you are not prepared for the surprise test. Surprise can sometimes increase your adrenaline, which will further prepare your body for fight or flight response. So fight would be just, what do you call it? Arguing against that. Why have you kept a surprise test? You would have at least informed us. That is why it's a surprise test. You do not get details about it previously. Flight response, you just sail through it because you have studied. So that 1% or either 5% would have studied. 95% is most of you. That is already expected that you are not prepared for a surprise test. So an advice, please be prepared. Then we have our disgust. Amy is going to experience disgust as she reads the news of a gang rape. Evolutionary disgust evolved as a reaction of foods that might be harmful or fatal. So generally, disgust is more common reaction given to the taste or smell that has gone bad, but some other unwanted situations may also give rise to disgust. People may also experience moral disgust, as in the case of Amy when they observed others engaging into immoral behaviors. But human emotions are no simple, and sometimes we experience mixture of emotions which are complex to understand. So as I showed, that disgust or the anger, this was a complex emotion. I showed anger as well as disgust because this is disgusting. You can't. I know this is a hypothetical situation, but this is real life as well. I am disgusted by the men of India, and that is just the thought process that they carry. That rejection is the last step of life. Bro, rejection just helps you experience things. It's an experience of life. You can't just destroy someone else's life just because you've been rejected. Then, though, out of 15 lakh students or 16 lakhs, it's increasing every year. 16 lakhs students that appear for JW or NEET every year, out of them, only 10,000 are accepted. It's a rejection process. Why don't the 14 lakh 90,000 students go and argue with the officials that why aren't we accepted? Because they have analytics showing that this is what you went wrong in. Rejection can't be calculated. Sometimes you have to contemplate what is wrong with you. You can't find wrong things in that person that is front of you who's rejecting you. You need to respect in yourself that what is wrong in me, what caused the person to reject me. First see that you are imperfect. That's why you can't think the person in front of you is imperfect just before thinking what is wrong with you or what has given rise to that reaction. I know that causes a rebellious reaction, but why just I've given up on people. Yeah, it's just the news also, they do not want people to know about the analytics. They do not have the data only. All they care about is TRPs. What do you think? They did something about this? All they gained was TRPs. And people on all the platforms, they just post. They do not take any actions. There is still no person in India or anywhere around the world who thinks rejection has a positive side effect. Everyone thinks that rejection is bad. Rejection is only caused because of something that is bad about you. Get that in your thick skull, then you will move forward in your life. Not just because rejection causes you to be lower in the society. You are the cause that you are lower in the society just because what you think about yourself. Shit, it's people, man. Just give it up. So let's start with do you know box. Higher cognitive emotions following are some of the emotions which are like basic emotions and universal, but the expression of these emotions vary across different cultures. Love, shame, pride, jealousy, guilt, embarrassment, envy. I'm sorry if I wouldn't have read them out in the chronological order. I'm just pissed off. So these were our higher cognitive emotions. Just revise these because do you know boxes are important as well for the juniors of the students that are or the students that are going to be appearing for boards after the year of 2021. This is important. So just go through this. I'll be reading out Plutchik's model. 5.2.1 Plutchik's model. According to Plutchik, emotions have evolved over a period of time for increasing our chance of survival. In his model, he stated that there are 8 basic emotions: joy, trust, fear, surprise, sadness, anticipation, anger, and disgust. Each primary emotion also has its polar opposite. Example, joy is the opposite of sadness and fear is the opposite of anger. So these primary emotions also have the polarized or opposite. So just revise this because this is also an important statement for the juniors of students appearing for boards in 2021. Plutchik created the wheel of emotions which depicts the various relationships among the emotions. The intensity of emotion decreases as we move forward or outward and increases as we move towards the center. The color indicates the intensity. The darker the shade, the more intense the emotion. Example, anger when it is least intense is called annoyance, and when it reaches at its highest level of intensity, it becomes rage. So where is our anger? Yeah, so see, anger is here in the middle part where our primary are there. Then we move forward to our different levels. That extreme as the darker shade is rage, and then we have annoyance in our outerward as we go outwards. So these are different examples. Emotions with no color depicts combination of two primary emotions. So here aggressiveness is annoyance plus our we call it. So here example, joy and trust combine to be love. Joy and trust combine to be love. Anticipation and joy become optimism. Anger and anticipation become aggressiveness. So you become curious or you become anxious about something. you get aggressive, or anticipation, or you get the opposite of what you are expecting, causes you to get angry. Plutchik states that the emotions are often complex, and we experience complex emotions most of the time. So this is more than what you expect in more future of your life. Plutchik's model is important from the perspective of emotional literacy. That is only having words for emotions, but understanding how different emotions are related to one another and how they tend to change over a period of time. So we need to keep a watch on our emotions, name them appropriately, and address them in a healthy way to avoid triggering them in the future. The emotions which are not addressed in a healthy way can be a cause of psychological problems. It may also lead to unhealthy behavior patterns in future, causing an imbalance in other aspects of a person's life. Then we have our unit 5.3, psychological changes during emotions. We'll be covering this in our next part. For now, we have completed our first two units that include our basics. We'll start with our history of emotions and our introductory part, that is the introduction. And both of them are 5.1. And we covered our 5.2, basics of emotions. This is out of syllabus for students appearing for boards in year 2021. So ignore this. And your juniors, they are the person who are supposed to read this. So for now, just ignore 5.2. Thank you for watching. You've been a lovely audience. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you have any doubts pertaining the topics taught in this video, you can contact me on Telegram via the link given in the description. If you want to support the channel, please follow me on Patreon. I'll be uploading exclusive notes and the exercise solutions PDFs. So please, you'll have extra perks on Patreon as well. So follow me there. Thanks for watching. Take care and stay safe.